Brutal.
Intense. Brutal.
Fast, brutal. That's just 2 words. It's definitely brutal.
Painstaking.
I really think that this album is kind of a culmination of the band today. You know what I mean? Obviously the band's had a lot of different member changes, and that's unfortunate. But with the members that I do have and I've had over the last 10 years, they're really solid musicians, and I love playing with them, and we have a great time. So it was nice to be able to work with them and actually bring forth like kind of a really good vibe of the band coming into the studio and doing its recordings and bringing that to you guys for you to hear.
The fans want to hear something new, so put the album together, put it out there, and give the fans some new Suffocation material.
Pretty much have a similar goal in mind every album. It's like, write something super brutal with all the catchy slams, the psychs, with all the, fast stuff that you love and all the hooky stuff that you love without, going too far off the path. I'm Joe Sincata. I did a live sound for Suffocation did about 1,200 shows with them, and I produced their last 3 records.
Joe Sincata.
Pat. Sincata's great. Big cat.
He's our boy, man. He's the Johnny Knobs of Exodus and, the Faceless. You know what I mean?
He used to come on the road with us doing live sound all the time. And, he's got some kids at home now. He just had another one. Congratulations.
He always makes you feel comfortable. I've worked in other environments where you just don't feel comfortable. You're watching the clock go down and you're just like, man, this isn't going down right. With Joe, he'll pull you aside and, basically just be like, hey, if you're not feeling it right now, take your instrument home, work on the part that's bothering you, get back on track, come in here, do it when it's right.
Joe has always made me feel comfortable when we go live or in the studio. Another no pressure guy whatsoever. Most record producers or guys that are hitting buttons try to have a no pressure situation, and Joe is another one that's very good at that. Thank goodness for that. We have someone like him in our Suffocation camp that can, again, keep that vibe the way it is.
I mean, we dragged him right out of college. He nearly didn't graduate because of us, so that just goes to show you.
He did a great job sound-wise, recording the albums, and it works out, really cool with something like that because, the comfort level is there. You come in, you have a good time doing it. It's not somebody that, that you don't know, and, like, who knows how they can react with the band and this, that, and other things. So it's more like family, like when you come in here, and that's a really cool way to, be able to record an album is, family. Plus, he does a great job. I mean, he's one of the best out there. So I enjoy coming.
First time I heard Suffocation was probably in around 1990 or so. I still actually have their first ever album on cassette, their EP, Human Waste. I also have Effigy of the Forgotten here on cassette. For those of you that don't know what cassettes are, these little tapes that we used to play right here before CDs.
You're a living legend. They love you.
All right, top again. it's a wonderful idea to travel in, to go to a studio of your dreams or something like that. And, you know, a lot of bands are flying in and, you know, staying at studios and staying at hotels and stuff.
I have recorded in both the studio out of town, you know, the multi-million-dollar studio. I've recorded in, you know, pretty much a studio that was in a barn to a studio like this one. Again, back to the really nice setup with the top quality gear and, you know, perfect layout for the type of sounds we're going for.
I've done that stuff before too, where you go out of state and you know, go down and record and like, you know, you can do that sometimes if you like totally completely prepared 100%. Like, you know, you had to be playing all these songs all the time, have them down, you know, where, you know, there's no problem whatsoever, and because then that way you could go and bang out an album in like 2 weeks.
You really need, as the band, to have all the songs done, not only written, but everybody playing it 100% perfect and no problem playing it at all. But that's not the way we do it.
I'll be singing everything for the very first time here and not knowing much of the material beforehand. So this is all basically first time putting things together and getting to go instead of like beforehand. You know, sometimes you run through the songs and you practice them, this, that, and the other thing before you get in. But just because of like constraints of, you know, the guys being on the road and things like that or whatever, it's not as easy as it used to be anymore.
The reason we did it on Long Island is because for one, everybody is busy and it's hard for us to pick up and go someplace else and stay there for, you know, 2 or 3 weeks and just leave everything alone at home. Yay! Fun. Almost, anyway.
Almost fun?
Almost. No, almost. Almost playing through the song the right way. So the pre-production part of it, when we're writing at home, as I said, we're all on the same platform of recording device at home pretty much. And when we're at home putting together the pre-productions, it was easy enough for us to take everything that we wrote at home and bring it into the studio.
We write, you know, here, Terrence's house, my house, Derek's house. And the pros is just, you know, you still have your life here at home. For me, I don't think there's any cons to that.
We thought it would be real nice to be able to, you know, we have the keys. You know, we come down here anytime we want. We have 24-hour access to the facility. So, you know, we all know how to run the machine. You want to hear it? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
No, it's not working.
No, it's right here. Can you hear me now? You hear me now? You don't hear me still? Well, everything's set up for it to work. No.
You got that light off?
Listen, lights. Oh, there it is. Now, still no. I have no other way to make that thing talk to him other than what?
Now we can hear you.
Nope. Because of this.
What else? Just yell.
Now? Nothing? Fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. This is Joe's computer. I don't know how to fucking do this. You know, it's one of those things where I think the pros about being home is that, you know, I can go, man, everybody's going to sleep. I want to go work on it. I can come in at any stage of the day.
This allows you to, you know, basically, you know, live your regular life outside of, you know, doing the band and recording and stuff and coming in kind of like when you're comfortable coming in, which, you know, works the best for me.
It's so close to our house. We can come here anytime we want, during the day, at night, whenever, and work for 8, 16 hours, whatever it is. And then, you know, we don't feel rushed or anything. We feel like we can sit and get everything done exactly the way we want it. And we can still go home and have our lives and our girlfriends and friends.
I could imagine, you know, like the isolation of not having all your friends and your outside influence. Everybody's showing up. They know Suffo's in the studio, so people show up. So an appearance by Mr. Douglas Bones.
Sick fucking nuclear blast. Fuck yeah. Thank you for years of great fucking music.
Hell yeah. What are you up to this fine evening?
I'm going to Pyrexia rehearsal.
And, you know, it's great, but I guess a pro to being out of town would be less interruptions.
Because we're in the comforts of our own home, we don't have to worry about being out of our element for any reason. So that's not a distraction. We could solely focus on the music.
And then it's cool, you know, you get to sleep in your own bed and, you know, just comfort your own home instead of like, you know, staying in a hotel or something like that for 2 weeks.
If you're comfortable doing it at home, I would prefer to do it at home. If you really are in love with a particular facility, definitely fly in, stay at hotels. And, you know, I know a lot of these compounds are housing the bands while they record. So there's definitely the you know, what do we want out of this? Do we want the convenience, and do we like the studio, or do we need to go to this facility? And, you know, they both have great benefits. Yeah, it's going to be hard as all that pedaling in the beginning.
I don't know what pedaling is. Was that a Derek term? Of course.
Pedaling? Pedaling? I don't know. Where'd that one come from? Pedaling some weed or something? I don't get that one.
I think that's just, you know, when he's following on the bass and diddly 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 diddly.
We've been using it on the bass. The term is, you know, where I've got to really roll, you know, for a long time. So I'm sitting there and I'm just pedaling and pedaling and pedaling and pedaling. So, you know, a lot of bass players are grabbing a pick or just playing cut time. And for me, you know, it's like I'm trying to really pedal in there and match the 16 that these guys are going for. And, you know, not every part calls for me playing the same exact value as the guitar players, but sometimes it's really nice to sync up and, you know, just pedal along with them. So it's a blast.
Skank is a dirty hoe.
Skank beat, to me, is what I had always known as the original hardcore beats back in the days of punk and hardcore. Just
filthy.
Bap, 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 like a polka type thing.
Don't want to bring it around to mom and dad.
Like, you know, kick, snare, alternating, but then, you know, you're doubling up the hat or the ride. And, you know, it's like a punk beat or a thrash beat, you know, and, yeah, we call it a skank beat.
She's nasty. She'll probably smell bad. And she sleeps around a lot. That's a skank.
Or it's a chick. Some chicks are skanks.
That was a scat beat, and somehow it turned into the skank beat at some point. I don't know how that happened, but, you know.
Well, scat, you know, like, it could be a beat. You know, a scat beat, like,
to me, that's when someone just does some weird stuff that you can't understand musically with their mouth.
I think that's the same as the skank.
Pretty much the same thing as a skank beat. You know, we kind of got our own lingo, and some of us call it skank, and some of us call it, you know, scat.
maybe used for another thing. I don't know, piece of crap. Scat, I guess.
That's like almost the hook for a lot of the death metal songs. It has, like, you know, the part where they slow down and it kicks into like halftime snare.
Well, just that section that makes you want to, you know, just go nuts, get in the pit, beat some people up.
Well, yeah, that would be like a slam riff.
You know, one of the heavy, hooky, catchy, slower parts.
I believe a stab is something that you do to somebody you don't really like. You stab them.
I'm going to either choke a cymbal or hit some drums.
Be one guitar player is playing by himself, and you hit that accentuating riff, so, you know, it'd just be like jump.
Chun, 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 chun. Those are stabs like chun, 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 chun.
Kick drum and a crash cymbal at the same time.
You know, that's the stab.
Stab means something completely different to me.
Grind is like pretty much what like Napalm Death does.
It's kind of like a slow hi-hat skank beat. You know, doopa 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 doopa, but it's fast. Zap 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 zap.
Just grind it out as fast as you can.
Blisteringly fast.
That's like the overhand blast, you know, 16th notes. Same like the fast beat, but twice as fast. So you're dropping kick and snare alternating. Pats on the kicks.
bass drum and ride or bass drum and hi-hat on beat 1, and the snare drum would be on the alternate on beat 2. So just a constant back and forth, pretty much as fast as you can go.
The bomb is like what Cannibal Corpse does.
More just power and just, like everything going all at once.
It's all out. The bomb blast is just where everything's flailing 16s or 32s.
So it's like, dot, 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 with the double bass dropping underneath.
I'm leading with the hi-hat or ride and the snare on 1. So those are going together, or even opposing with the snare on 1 and the hi-hat on 2, so it would be backwards than a regular grind, with double bass going underneath it.
But who came up with half of this lingo? Where'd you get this from? I don't even know half this is psych. I don't even know where some of these words come from.
What we consider to be like, say, the main part of the song, or the chorus, or the hook riff or something's gonna come up.
We're gonna give you a tease of something, and then we take it away from you.
Part of the music you're going to use later on, but you only use just a little piece of it to introduce it for later on in the song.
So it's just one little psych of rhythm before you get to hear the rest of it later. So it's just kind of one of those little moves that we do every now and then.
So it's like psyching you out, basically. They throw you a little clip just to and then go into something, I guess, yeah.
It's easy because we all do speak the same language, whether we made it up or we just all know how to communicate with each other.
We do have studio lingo, man. We've got our Napalm Death riffs and our Death riffs, and we've got our Slayer riffs and our Morbid Angel riffs, and we've got our grind beats and our blast beats and our Smith beats and our scat beats and our polka beats, and we got our double bass beats. So we might even be able to write a small thesaurus or something on this, so that way everybody can use it, because when, everybody has listened to so much metal that we all resemble each other in some way, shape, or form, and you hear that color a lot in the music that you listen to. And it's funny, it's because, I could listen to anything and be like, okay, that's a death rhythm, that's a pestilence riff, that's a scat beat, that's the polka beat, you heard that one, and and it's so funny because we use that as opposed to saying, okay, we're going to play the fourth measure, like this, we're going to put a Napalm Death beat on there right there, So that's how we do it in the studio. It's kind of fun. I'm sure you guys do it too.
The guitar plays by itself, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then you came in. Brutal.
And Cole Ross's drumming is just off the hook. He covers it all your different types of blasts out that they do, he does them all, and his cymbal work is another fine addition to this record. He definitely knows how to create some great atmosphere with his cymbal work.
Dave's sick.
Dave's like a machine.
Dave's a man, and actually, I've jammed with Dave before, so I know what an accomplished drummer he is to even play with.
He was in the band for a little bit back in the days, and of course we played a lot of the older songs with him up until the Despise the Sun EP came out.
I was really anticipating a lot of pressure because it had been so long. But these guys have always been really low-pressure guys with me. We all get along so great. The vibe between us all is just, I couldn't ask for anything better. It's a perfect vibe for playing musically.
He hadn't been playing any of these songs. He had played in a ton of other bands, so, he was just doing his thing. But it was really nice to be able to go and play a lot of the Despise the Sun material with him. Me personally, myself, because I happen to, have been there with him. And coming back into writing this new record and him getting all the material and hopping in so brilliantly, I have to say.
Originally, when we had the intention of getting this album together, when I got into the band, it was going to have more time to work on it than what we actually did. What happened is when I came into the band, we had so many show obligations that my concentration was really, because I was so new back into the band again, was making sure that my live set was proper and up to par, and I was playing as good as possible with the band.
Things went south with Mike. When he got back into the band, it took a little bit just to rub some of the dust off of the older songs and just see what he remembered.
Myself as a player, I've been kind of woodshedding and getting my own chops up for about the past 5 years, since I haven't recorded anything since the last Malevolent Creation record I did.
Once he got back in the band, it was just like night and day. I mean, I've never seen anybody who wants to play 240 BPM and smile while he's doing it.
You know, he just wants to kill it. You know, and he does come up with a lot of real unique parts during pre-production. You know, we get Terrence blasting and bombing and grinding and skanking and on a MIDI keyboard.
Originally, it had started out with Terrence's programmed ideas with a keyboard. He had programmed some drums, and I got the idea of where he wanted to go with the songs from that.
You hand it off to Dave, and he goes, "Oh, okay, take all the drums out. I don't want to be swayed."
So that I could hear the song without any other drum beats in my mind, so that I could think of my own beats and have my own personal creative freedom.
But let's see what he does. He comes up with some really cool, unique stuff. A lot of the time, we're able to go, "Oh, Dave, would you mind bombing here instead of the beat that you did?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, killer, let's try it."
You're like, "Hey, can you play that a little faster?" And it's a little faster. Play it a little slower,
I came from back in the days of using reel-to-reel, and those days were, you had to play it. You had to play it real. You had to play it as long and continuous as you could to get a really good, solid take.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's always the best when it could be a true, you know, you played it and, you know, exactly, you know, just the raw version of it. And, you know, obviously we're making punches. You know, it's death metal has they set the bar pretty high.
Of course, nowadays with technology, you could do so many other things than that. I mean, you could be a really crappy drummer and just have all this editing be done and you sound amazing. But, I don't use those abilities when I go into the studio. I have a sense of pride in what I do, and because of the way I've been raised with my background of having that reel-to-reel and the somewhat lack of ability to do what we do now or can do now, I still go for just the sake of trying to go from point A to point B, and that would be from the beginning to the end as much as I can.
In their case, the stuff isn't rehearsed. It's written but not rehearsed, so, you know, sometimes you got to go over a part a couple times, you know, get it muscle memoried up.
The songs on this record were not in my mind as much as I would have liked them, so I did have to piece by piece some of them, but that was only because I didn't know the whole structure of the entire song as far as getting from end to end. I did know the riffs in my head so that it wasn't like I'm making a studio album trying to create the beats in the studio. Some of it I did have in mind, but for the most part, the majority of the record was played for the very first time on this drum set in the recording process. I had only played through a song and a half, almost 2 songs, before we entered the studio. All the rest of it was all just brand new to me.
Trying to keep it real, you know. Everyone can do it the fake way.
It was in my mind well enough that when I went into the studio, I had some good, strong ideas, and I'd forgotten pretty much all the old ideas that Terrence had pre-programmed. So I came out with some fresh stuff, and these guys were pretty excited with some of the new stuff that I'd come out with because it was different to them as well, so it made it fresh for everybody.
It's just like old times, man. He's a happy guy. He's real aggressive on the drums. He knows his craft well, and I think that for us, it was just a perfect fit.
You know, I've worked with him before and everything, so it's not like, you know, and he's you know, laid back and everything, and you know, so it's cool. You know, it's just you know, feels good. I mean, I've known him for a while, so you know, there's comfort there. That's the main thing. You know, a lot of it's just comfort because knowing the guys for so long.
Just a perfect fit. He's an awesome drummer. He's been doing really, really well for us. And hey, man, you'll be able to hear it for yourself. It sounds great, man.
I think myself as a player as well, with these guys together, we're making a really strong unit right now that's producing music that is probably at its peak for our personal writing abilities, and then combining that together, it makes for a really good, strong record.
Changing some tubes. Check this out. It started by I just wanted to have a better, tighter distortion, and I really wanted to kind of like push it and see, you know, what the 3120s can really do, because they just had stock tubes in it and were never biased even when we got them.
And what's so special about that? Tell us.
This, I don't know yet. We're gonna check it out. This one, but I know that this one's pretty special. Got this from a place called Euro Tubes. out in Oregon. That's a special one. And I got these little 12AX7s also.
The main reason was just because he wanted to bias and retube the heads for the recording in the studio.
So whose amp are you dismantling?
Terrence's. Fuck that, not doing mine.
So, of course, Guy, who's the compulsive buyer that he is, had to go out and buy all the bias gear, had to get the tubes, had to get the hottest tubes, had to get the craziest shit, and literally just came in and retubed everything in the studio because, you know, we want to make it sound as best as possible for you guys.
We'll see. See what happens. We'll see what's popping. And I was like, you know, I really want to learn about this and figure it out. So I just did research on the internet, called some places, spoke to some people, and ordered some tubes and the biasing pieces that I needed, and the meter and all that, and figured it out and biased them myself. Michael, this is Guy again from Suffocation. Just having another issue. It's actually not hard. I tried playing the guitar through it while it's like this and it won't play. Is that normal, or? It's not even time consuming, really. There's no sound coming out of the amp at all. If you just get a little patience. And then the 3 12AX7s that I put in the other spots aren't lit up at all. I don't know if that's normal. And just let your amp warm up really well. Did everything right, just didn't work right. Come on, screw. Get it to where you want it. That's what an amp looks like inside. See any other little tubes in here? And I think it paid off. It's pretty good. Sounds good.
He did it himself, man. He's pretty good.
Yeah, minuses.
First of all, Terrence is probably one of the best guitar players I've ever had the honor to jam with.
I can do a Dave Mustaine in there. Put some circus music going on.
Yeah.
Watch that shit. Watch. Ready? Yeah. Right? You gotta show people that one because that's stupid. Right? You know what I mean?
That's Hanger 18.
Yeah, it's totally, and I can't use it, you see? I thought of that shit, I was at home, I was like, it's simple chromatic shit. But if you use it, you sound like Megadeth, or, you know. Then I couldn't go. Because it was Carlos Santana.
Yeah, totally.
I'm using my Signature Series BC Rich Warlocks, man, and I'm very proud to say that they've been helping me out immensely with products and supporting us and bringing us out and giving us the option to, you know, pretty much take their shapes and design it the way that we like it and bring it out to you guys. So, that earlier one comes out just as crushing as those other ones. these ones that I'm using in the studio right now are import ones. They sound great. They're just as good as my American ones, so I figure might as well leave the American ones at home and just use the import ones, because they're very, with handmade guitars, there are inconsistencies that are in them. And unless somebody is really, really, really good and knows exactly what your scales are and what you're looking to make out of wood, which BC Rich has done for me, I really feel that I'm bringing in this production model guitar something that could last forever for any musician that would decide to buy it for the $8.99 that it is. It's a kind of guitar that it's not saying it's Terrence Hobbs on it, but it's what Terrence Hobbs uses, and I wanted to make that perfectly clear to everybody, because if you do buy the guitar, it's your guitar. It's a Warlock, and it's something that you can play on because that you could use for the rest of your life. Even though it's a Terrence Hobbs series Warlock, it's not saying Terrence Hobbs across the fretboard and making you look kind of corny, you know what I mean? That's dumb. Spent way a lot of time writing the rhythms, not as much time writing the leads that I wanted, you know what I mean? You guys will probably have to wait until the next album for me to actually really show you any talent. I want to be known as the enforcer. They call me spaghetti. Call me noodles right now. Fucking noodling.
And then sure enough, sick, man.
Just always seem to miss the lead. Sick! Let's get this going. Sick. It's Miller time for no reason.
I'm using my BC Rich guitar. The BC Rich guitar I'm using is my signature model. Vader cabinet. The Vader cabinet is actually one of the studio's Vader cabinets. We have a Vader endorsement, and rather than bring all cabinets here, all the Vader cabinets, these ones here are the same as what we use. So we're just using the Vaders that are here, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
This is a wonderful thing, man. You know that, right? It's a beautiful device. Silver Surfer fucking aromatherapy.
Let me say that I think that the guitar tone is just crushing. I'm not exactly sure what they used on the record, but man, it just hits you hard. You know, they got their fast parts and you know their stab parts, and they're more tremolo picking style parts and all that. The riffs are great.
Oh, now we're really getting into it. That's straight up Ampeg, baby.
Yeah, Ampeg.
It's so solid state that it's solid state.
Solid state.
It's just a super low end. I think it's a cool head.
That's pretty cool. We're gonna check them all with the mics, because like you can never tell until you hear it with the mic.
Yeah, I think that this thing sounds evil though.
Yeah, we'll try them all.
Yeah.
Want to hear the crank?
No, I'm just gonna stick with what I know.
Yeah. This guy rode all the way from a long way. You know, check it
I
out.
know, but you know, I'm looking for a specific thing, and it's like I know I get it out of
Let me hear this guy.
it. You know what I'm saying? I use PVs, you guys. I use PV 3120s and PV XXX heads. I have been known to use some 6505s and 5150s because, you know, if a venue supplies you some gear, we ask them, bring us our PVs. I'm also using Maxon overdrive pedal.
The Maxon pedal is great. It gives that the gain just a little bit of like that punch and that bite that you want.
And a Boss NS2 noise suppressor pedal with the pickups in the guitars, especially mine, which is the Marzio Super Distortions. Love them, always have. It gives me that pretty crispy tone that I like, and it gives me a very heavy tone as well. So you guys check out the PVs, they're great heads.
I'm playing a custom American, a custom-made American, handmade American. Let me start that over. I'm playing a custom American handmade That isn't right either. An American, nope. Handmade, custom American BC Rich. Warlock 5-string, my choice of woods, my choice of electronics, my choice of hardware. I'm really into the Seymour Duncan electronics, the Kaler tremolos. BC Rich is a great company. They're really behind me, and they want to build you an instrument that you love. I chose the scale, I chose the colors, the setup. I'm playing the Diodario string, love the Diodario family. With all of our companies, we're real fortunate. The companies are behind Suffocation, and we're stoked. We're happy. So yeah, the 5-string Warlock is it's a beast.
Holy crap. Like, you guys are crazy, man. Like, you can't sing that nuts. Not when you're pushing. Like, all these crazy words. Like, you got this other one, too, inversion or whatever. It's like, iconoclastic. Renunciate. That ain't happening. I'm not sick, and this is ridiculous. I mean, that's just weird, man. Can't you just come up with a word like kill? Like as more power. When you put power words. Iconoclastic renunciation of the lepers of the falsenesses, rearing expendable purities, synthetic virtues, malicious, consequent, concealed conviction, insist on the vast hypnosis, accuse blessing, imperious mystics lie perpetually, controlling fate for century. Like, holy crap, man. Yeah, I mean, even Pinnacle, enraptured, fearing, bleeding, eternal reprise have come to the chaos, subliminal ties, infecting lost prophecies awaken, ancient minds enslaved from the birth humanity quells, unnerving feelings cold and dissatisfied, preparing for the coming of man. Like, you're absolutely nuts, man. You can't have power in enraptured, fearing, bleeding, eternal reprise. I can barely even say that just on my own. Enraptured, fearing, bleeding, eternal reprise. Like, come on. Enraptured, fearing, bleeding, like, I'm out of breath at that point now. Now what do you want me to do? Expected dictomedy. Expected dictomedy. Yeah, there's another great word. Where'd you get that? So you want me to put, expected dictomedy. None of this stuff makes it to the DVD. None of it. I mean, I understand where you're going with it and stuff, but what has more power is when you go, you are so beautiful, I bathe myself in the entrails of you. It's just, it rolls off the tongue nicely. This stuff is like, I'm reading a goddamn scholar. Flagellate, disperse the ties, propagate, virus debilitates.
Flagellate, what is that? You got the flag and you're, hang on, I gotta know what that means before that even sticks. Before I get you to even say that. What does that even mean?
I don't know. Like, could you just go up with a better word?
Flagellate.
Spell it. Flag. You rate. Is that all it is?
Yep.
That's it. It's not a word.
It has to be.
Ray, I got a text this morning from him, and he's like, "Yo, go on YouTube and look up this guy, and it's a word, I swear."
No results. Not a word. Put a word in there.
Yo, how do you have words in here that aren't? It's not even a word.
Yo, Hobbs.
Yes.
What's flagellate?
To turn stone into liquid, into powder, and then to liquid, and they melt it out.
It's not flagellate. It's
Basically, these new boring machines that they're using to bore the earth, to bore into the earth.
Flagellate. It's full.
No, it's not fulgurate.
Flagellate isn't a word. We just looked it up.
He sends me this text message at 8:30 in the morning.
No, because you go to flagellate and it says, "Did you mean flagrate, fulgurate, flaturate, or flagrate?"
It's not flagrant.
Let's see what
I think it's the one that we
Let's
had.
see flagrate.
gonna be the rate at which you swing flags.
Okay, look up Phil Schneider, the man who killed 2 gray aliens. In number 2 out of 8, you will hear about the word flagurate.
Well, you can sit there and question it.
I mean,
I know what it
trying to
means,
figure
and
out
I
what
just told you. It's like a binturon. You didn't believe that existed either until you fucking found it, didn't you?
I just typed in
Yeah, we
what
just-
we spelled. and we
I
couldn't come
don't
up
give
with
you words that don't exist.
it. Right, I think we're just off with the spelling by 1 or something. Though, because
More
you
than
can't find
likely, but you'll never find it because you're the worst speller in the world.
it. I am the worst speller ever.
Exactly.
But
I speak very well, can't spell to save my life.
I just have to prove it to you guys, but I'll get down with you later about that one. We'll save that one for the DVD.
flag rate creates a burning trail in the air that fades with time. It can be redirected. That's from Harry Potter.
That's from Harry Potter.
Flag
What I'm
rate
talking
is
about
to
is from a
burn.
guy who worked on.
burn,
What
yeah.
I'm talking about is from a guy who actually worked on earth boring machines that melt rock. They flagurate the rock. You understand?
Fulgurate.
Well, you could say fulgurate, but I don't think that's.
I just saw it. It was just
yeah,
there.
Yeah, it's one that he did. There's a flat rate.
Yeah, there's a flat rate of 6.9% annually.
It doesn't even come in.
I know it doesn't.
Flagurate doesn't come into any of this.
Now, man, that's crazy. You're awake. It's 8 in the morning. Shit.
Okay, so, and it's not even in the dictionary, so this guy basically just came up with this word. It's a new word. Because it's not in the dictionary. We looked.
But are you guys just stuck on one fucking word? Can you get on with the actual recording? Seriously?
To put a word in that we don't know, like what.
Well, you don't know. I know.
We have it spelled as a word that doesn't exist. So if he's gonna say it the way
That's
we
all right. He
pronunciated
said
it,
he did lyrics that didn't exist. Period.
and that wasn't good.
Actually, it was really good because everybody seemed to like it a lot. But I don't know what to tell you about that.
Listen, I can make this thing sound sick with no lyrics whatsoever, because I make things sick.
As I said, it's an off-the-path word, but yeah, flagurate.
Gotta help me out here, you know. Back me up, motherfuckers.
And I think he may be saying it wrong, or maybe he's saying it right, and maybe I'm crazy, but I think you're crazy, Terrence.
Flag rate. Swinging flags around at a high pace rate.
I just want simple things. This ain't simple. You're out of your mind. When you try putting together a whole scholar like this, I mean, it's like, you know, and just try to, yeah, like, I mean, wow. Stop going to like the thesaurus and whatever and coming up with words. Just go with the basic words. Death, kill you, I don't like you, die, hello. Your body is rotting, you smell of flesh, your sweetness on your lips. Ancient thoughts to prepare for the exodus, shudder at what knowledge will hold. The sullen days searching for a singular way, as they always are. The broken waves as I walk. Now I conceive of brutal reality, just wanting to kill. Murder in mind to silence a virus. Internal struggle containing the violence, wanting to purge the earth. Denying my thoughts to obtain absolution. Pray for my soul to receive its ascension. The sullen days as I dwell in this empty shell, hopes of redemption declining. Festering hate inside as I harbor the pain within. A tormented soul that's tortured and bound, God-fearing agony. Yeah. No, I'm just going to do it in speaking. Like this. I'm just going to speak in this voice as we do this whole song. We should do that stuff instead. Let's make this record sick. Yeah, if I just did this and just talked through it. What? The fans would love that if I was just the broken ways as I walk through the emptiness. Lost souls as empty as mine. Barren and desolate. You're seeing the irony. Alright. Well, Terrence did, most of the writing, song-wise and all that stuff. Derek did a lot of lyrical writing and stuff like that. I didn't really do too much, probably because my brain is spent at this point in my life. I've written a lot of things about death and dismemberment and, religion and all sorts of, stuff. And I don't know, as I get older and Alzheimer's sets in, I'm tapped as far as what writing wise.
Well, the lyrical topics, mainly this is kind of a theme-oriented record. It's pretty much about life and preparing for death. That's pretty much what this whole record's about.
We did some stuff like out of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a lot of the death and rebirth, unending cycles of life, and the way energy is transferred from vessel to vessel.
So each song has a different vibe, even though the songs aren't intertwined with each other. Like let's say King Diamond, they all do have like a very different feel and vibe to them, but it's all about actually preparing for death.
And the unending cycle is pretty much like a theme of it.
How you realize that you could be so alone in a world full of people, how you realize that a lot of the things that you've been told have been reversed, when you realize that you have to prepare for your death and so on and so forth. This is pretty much what this record is about.
You get a little bit of outside influences, and some of the songs are like, okay, how do we make these things coincide and tie into the theme that we have? So, if Terrence writes some material, he wrote a really cool song on here, and it can apply to it because, he's Pray for My Soul to Receive Its Ascension. It's one of those things where, okay, that does tie in.
That's the Sullen Days. That's just it's a song about a person. All right, in New York City is a big, huge place. So many times you'll find yourself being in the city, surrounded by millions of people, but yet you're so alone by yourself because, people aren't as nice as what you really think they are. They're not ready to give you directions, although New York is known for some of it.
This one is like him going out and, losing his mind and wanting to kill a bunch of people, but then he's like fighting internal struggle with himself.
A person who really believes that they want to do the right thing in their life, but they're so alone in themselves that all they want to do is fucking murder and kill everybody. He doesn't do it, mind you, but he thinks about it a lot.
Oh man, if I do this, then, my soul is damned and I'll be condemned, for these deeds.
He always comes back to reality to realize, man, maybe that's not the brightest idea, but you never know what I might do. You know what I mean?
It still is relevant to the theme of the death and rebirth, and the he's trying to keep himself together, or else he won't go to the right. His energy will go in the wrong direction. Is basically what we're working on. So a lot of energy transfer. I guess that would probably be the concept of the album.
Like he wrote the lyrics in patterns that seemed like patterns that you would do a lot. No, some of it. It's not arms, as you know.
I probably wouldn't have done that if I were you. I don't know if I would have handed this in. Yeah, I mean, again, they tried throwing all these words in there, like, you guys are crazy. So fucking stupid. And I can't stand that. I fucking hate that camera looking at me all the time.
We all got into this music when we were kids and having these aggressive tendencies, making fast music, and we stuck with it.
The Hall of Fame is big for like us here on Long Island and everything. The Long Island Music Hall of Fame.
A lot of people like Dave and Billy Joel and all these people, they were like so annoyed. If you saw some of the speeches that they made at the first gala, it was like, don't say you're from Long Island, say you're from Manhattan, say you're from New York City. And that's the way it was when we were growing up. It was always like, everybody, Long Island was known for Amy Fisher and Joey Buttafuoco.
For me, I mean, this is Long Island. It's not New York, but it's like one small step for death metal. one giant leap for death metal. You know what I mean?
We just thought, you know what, we want to scream out to the world. But no, man, Gershwin is.
You must be very
It's
big. You have a mirror.
Suffocation, Twisted Sister. You know, like they look around, you go, what? What's going on here? Because you can go to South Dakota, it's not like that. You know what I mean? It's one kind of music. Even California, you know what I mean? Like, this weird island is, you know, the proximity to Manhattan, and whatever it is the weirdest place on the planet. I mean, you get the best of rock, jazz,
you get a little bit of everything.
you know, so and that's what we're trying to like scream out so the bands can say we're from Long Island. Oh man, okay, we gotta listen to that.
It's awesome, it's a great honor, and it's really cool to finally get recognized for the work that the band has accomplished as a whole. I'm really not supposed to be here today. All kidding aside, this is a huge honor. Where we feel very, very glad that we got a chance to be inducted into the Long Island Music Hall of Fame.
It just feels good to be part of it. Like I put a post on my Facebook a few days ago and just said that I'm proud to be a part of Suffocation, and it's not about that I'm proud to be in Suffocation. I'm proud to be a part of Suffocation, because Suffocation right now, you have the current members and we get along great, but there's also past members, and they were all a part of Suffocation and in everything that Suffocation was and has become.
And we are here this day because we stuck with it, getting recognized for it.
Basically, putting the band together, starting it out as kids, and having it grow from there. We grew up on Long Island, basically Quorum, Stony Brook. We played pretty much all the venues out here on Long Island. Sundance. Some of you may remember Sundance, the Roxy, Right Track Inn, Sparks over at Deer Park. We've been at it for a very long time, and it's a lot easier now for things to happen because of the fact that the music itself is like it's more accessible now. So people can really get an appreciation for it and really understand the talent and the talent and skill that's required to play this type of music.
For it to be acknowledged on a bigger scale, outside of the death metal genre, I think it's cool. You're doing press conference on TV.
Long Island's a big part of our heritage, from all the music that we grew up on. A lot of hardcore, a lot of thrash metal, everything that we listen to. That's what we put into our music, and that was actually became known as the Long Island death metal sound.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I didn't get out of here until like 3 in the morning. It was at 7:30 in Huntington, which is about 30 minutes from here. So I was just like, I can't do it.
You should have been there. Whatever. I was in the airport all night. I slept on the floor. I slept on the floor. I slept in half a chair. I landed. I got picked up and went right there.
You just went to gamble.
But still, my evening was way worse than yours. I'll put money on it. You at least went home at 3 and slept in a bed. I came straight from the airport. So, I don't want to hear shit.
Good, get pissed off. We need that.
I wore the same clothes for over 24 hours at that point. and I'm down there doing the shit, so I don't want to hear it.
You want to hear?
Lucky I bought toothpaste at the airport, so I say, then I would have had nasty breath too on top of it. So
You better brush them fucking teeth.
we've been all over the world. We've toured a lot, but we always come back here to our roots here in Long Island, New York.
Yeah.
I'm in New York and straight up. You can hear it in my voice. That's it. I go everywhere. They're like, where are you from? No, we know you're from New York. So thank you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear much about death metal in major news and things like that. So for us, it's a big thing in opening up that genre to other things, such as MTV. You guys should be playing that stuff a lot. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Everybody knows that metal's going to be here and it's here to stay, and that's just the way it is.
You can go see tons of YouTube videos. I'm done. I'm like 2 different people. So you check it out on YouTube. Yeah. Hopefully, it paves the way, for other extreme and death metal bands, and to get recognition as well. It's deserved for a lot of bands out there. So it's really awesome.
Okay, so you guys are considered what's your genre? They said death metal?
Yeah, it's like death metal and street metal. Yeah, it's brutal, violent, crazy.
It's a nice thing to know that they're respecting death metal and bringing it into a larger framework. And for me, I'm really highly honored, and I hope that it spreads every place across the country and around the world, that they honor bands in this nature and bring it more up front, because this is something that we live by. You know, it's not something that you turn around and you do and you think that it's going to be over. I mean, I've gone through this. I've spent over half my lifetime playing this kind of music, and it's nice to be recognized that way. And it's nice that Long Island and New York recognize us that way. So we got to say thank you to all the fans that supported us, and we got to say thank you to the Music Hall of Fame for Long Island for even just paying that much attention. It's really cool.
Big question, October 18th, tux or no tux?
I don't know. Either maybe a tux with no sleeves.
Oh.
You know, do one of them jobs, or maybe I'll go streaking. I don't know.
We are a family-friendly show, so
Yeah,
we meet you
we're
on the
not
red
allowed.
carpet and have a little something. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
No problem. Thank you.
Pinnacle. Wow, what a crazy, you know, the title really says a lot about the process, and it says a lot about our lifestyles. It says a lot about what's going on in the world. Even the recording process, you know, the title really ties into pretty much we're living it. So, and I think you are too.
You know, there's basically a scale of life, and you know, and it can be either, you know, tipped on both sides or whatever. So, you know, something more tipped towards, you know, the chaotic side of life.
I'm not really sure what it is. I mean, kind of understand what it is.
That's the tipping point. You know, when it gets to its highest moment, you know, it's going to go one of two ways. You know, and Bedlam being chaos. So we're in such a chaotic state of affairs that it's gonna go one way or the other, and it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets any better.
It's almost like a 2012 type of thing where we're reaching an area where we're growing to mayhem getting ready to burst. So we're almost at that top of where everything is going to crash into total mayhem.
I mean, I have an idea what it is, but and I know what it was originally supposed to be, but...
And that's where we're just trying to bring that vibe across to you guys, because that's almost what it seems like in the world, you know? There's always something bad happening, and it's just growing and growing. It's getting to the pinnacle of where everything is just going to go apeshit.
You know, from what I've gathered, that's kind of like what it is. You know, basically it's the, you know, the how life balances between chaos and, you know, and the norm, and more or less teetering on the chaotic side.
How we're weighing the destruction of humanity and the way that we live and how our planet is, and, you know, everybody knows the Four Horsemen, so.
Yeah, the concept was a good one, and when he said it, you know, it was a unique set of words. I think most, you know, relatively intelligent people will understand the concept. If not, just read the lyrics. It's all spelled out for you.
The point of all chaos, like, I guess, like this, when everything is gonna happen. What does it really mean to me? It doesn't mean that much to me, actually.
That's pretty much the vibe of it, and each song is a different facet of, let's just say, society or a person's life, and preparing for their demise and what will happen and how they feel and shit like that. It's gonna be kind of heavy.
You know, with everything that's going on, like 2012 and December 21st and all that, and last album we did, Cataclysmic Purification, that was kind of along those same lines, and this is Pinnacle, Bedlam, so who knows?
You know, because the record topic's kind of cool, you know, we like that underground shit, so.
It's twisted Terrence circus out of his brain. I mean, Terrence wrote a lot of this record, and I mean, you're gonna hear these some of these riffs are twisted.
It's gonna be pretty brutal, man.
I think our first goal is to probably have it played as much as we can on radio and in people's iPods, and you know, basically make it heard. Put it on the computer for sale, and put it everywhere that we can to get it in the listeners' ears.
Now, the studio is one thing. The people get the album or they download the MP3 or however they get the material, and then seeing it live is a whole different animal.
Once it's been out and people are familiar with it for maybe a month or two, hit the road and support it, and, you know, really give people a full dose of the live Suffocation.
Let's get some good takes that meld well with each other, and then we'll come out and we'll kill it live for you.
You know, so there'll be some support for the album and everything. As far as much as I can do, you know, it definitely won't be as much as, you know, the rest of the guys, but, you know, they'll be doing whatever they can to support the album.
We're looking to hit some tours. You know, we want to get out. We want to support the record. We want to make Nuclear Blast proud. You know, there'll always be the summer festivals over in Europe, which is a great opportunity to play the new material for large crowds. And then also you got to hit the pavement. You know, you got to get out there and you got to play all the markets, secondary markets, major markets. You really got a lot to do. You want to support the album. You want to, you know, show the label that you're really interested in, you know, giving back. You know, they give you a chance. They want to distribute and manufacture your product, and they want to pay for your production, and you need to return the favor by going out and hitting the pavement and beating it, you know, and just basically playing for as many people as you possibly can.
I don't know, I'm just looking forward to get out there and see everybody, and see old faces and see new faces, and I guess that's it. Come to your town and have fun, jam.
It's gonna be a sick album.
For me, this will be the best Suffocation record that I've done for them, for sure.
I would really hope that new fans of this can not be judgmental when first hearing it and really give it a good listen. And as far as the old fans, I think they're going to really appreciate what we've done because it fits right in with some of the old music. It got back to the core of death metal. I don't want to say we're reinventing the wheel of death metal, but we're definitely going back to the old school feel where it's not just ridiculously fast, everything you can do, and, you know, overly technical. And it's a very, very complex musical structure, but done in a very memorable way. So I think we've got something good this time.
We'll get out there, we'll see the fans, and you know, buy the album, check it out, and see what you think. I mean, you know, it's basically classic Suffocation stuff. So
all I can say is thank you guys for supporting us through everything, through the thick and thin. We won't disappoint you. Long Island Hall of Fame, thank you. EMG, thank you. Everybody in Nuclear Blast, thank you. Most of all, thank you to all you fans for sticking it out with us throughout the course of the years. Can't wait to see you out on the road again. We love you guys. Fucking metal, man.
And you better move in the pit because when we're on stage, we feed off of you. So we'll have a good night if you're having a good night.
So yeah, Pinnacle of Bedlam, what a crazy, crazy ride.
There he is. Look at Tommy go. That's the guy behind the camera, Tommy. So here, you get on the other side. So we're all even. This way everybody...
Metal band Suffocation.
Ready to release their latest studio album, Pinnacle of Bedlam, in 2013, Suffocation proves that if you're good at what you do and you don't change who you are, you will create your own legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, all hail the reigning kings of brutality, Suffocation! Unfucking believable.
I'm an old man. This is like whatever. You get what you get. You don't like it, it's someone else.
All right, so we're gonna preamp and preamp and preamp and preamp.
Don't put that on there either. Instead of putting a gate on it, try putting a door. Put a door. Perhaps a window. Yeah, screen door would do.
Yeah, I have to do this. I have to apply this to every song.
Shut up, Frank.
What is that?
It's a sandwich.
Looks like fucking shit.
Doesn't taste like it, I'm sure.
It may. It may.
I don't think it will. Really can't fuck up turkey Swiss and a tomato.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
yeah?
He did. Pops was like, I'll take it with mustard. The guy loaded him up with mayo.
Mm-hmm.
He did fuck it up.
So yeah, so he messed it up.
I could be asked for extra mayo.
I asked for mayo on my sandwich.
And
he had
it could be 3-day-old mayo, and that would fuck it up. Turkey could have been like left outside next to a dumpster.
Listen, show me a turkey sandwich on a fucking garbage pail lid. I'm not gonna eat it. You know?
You want to do this one again? You want to do another one?
This is what I told you, man. This is what it's gonna be.
All right, man. Whatever, just open it up. I think you should be drinking liquor, personally.
Whatever. Liquor ain't gonna do nothing.
You don't think so?
I don't
I
think
see
so.
what liquor does to you. It's not nothing. I see what liquor does to you, and it certainly ain't nothing.
Yeah, but I don't drink when I sing. So what's that? You know?
Yeah, but you scream when you're drunk.
Yeah, that's completely different.
I hope BC Rich likes my whole idea of this because that Rockfield pickup, you know, it's not what I normally use, but now I put it in here and you know, I'm used to it and everything, so they just need to understand it doesn't say Hobbsfield. You know, it should say Hobbsfield pickups. Soon, maybe, one day. Come on, you know?
You know, this record here, I think you're really gonna hear a lot of the bass playing a lot more than some of the past records. Derek's bass playing is just phenomenal, and he plays with his fingers, which is definitely different for a lot of people. A lot of people seem to play with a pick these days. The new record has got to be probably the finest ever. It's got all your stabs and your blast beats and your psychs, and you got Guy and Terrence's eerie solos, and you know, Frank's vocals are just so brutal.
Oozy boozy. Oozy boozy boozy. That's so crazy.
That's amazing.
You really have to do this as a bonus track. I would be so disappointed. I really have to.
That would be awesome.
Holy shit, Joe, you got the munchies?
Did you hear that?
All right, now.
Did you hear that? Pierce with it. You have to put this at the end of the album or something.
We could do one of the songs like this on it.
You definitely should.
It's twisted.
Get a fishing rod guitar.
No, all he needs is a fishing rod
So
guitar
you play,
iPod.
and then you catch you know, the bite, you know, you pull it, you know.
Be all 80s.
You need help, dude? You getting that?
What's his problem now?
Don't even help him. That's amazing.
What?
You see Frank trying to put headphones on with one hand.
Oh, and he's all ridiculous? That's sick.
That's fucking amazing.
Fuck off. All you.